All right, folks, happy Monday. Happy Monday. Welcome, folks, back to another First and Frame Rate show. I am VF Baller, and over here we talk about Georgia Southern football. We also talk about Atlanta Falcons football, but today is going to be totally different. Not much Atlanta Falcons stuff is going on. I'm doing this episode a little bit earlier because, I got to go to work early in the morning. I usually try to do these episodes before I go and head off to work. Also, I think I got all the information I need for this particular episode, so hopefully you guys will sit back and enjoy. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I hope you do enjoy the content. Over here, I talk about, like I said, Atlanta Falcons football, Georgia Southern football. Not much to talk about Atlanta Falcons football, as you can see the title, but there will be a little bit of Atlanta Falcons talk in this one, and I will give you my thoughts and opinions. And like I said, the title is going to be, is it time for the older QBs to move on? And it's not just to be singling out these two quarterbacks. I got some other ones I want to talk about as well. And I'm going to give you my 2 cents on all of that. Not much Georgia Southern talk this week, but I will say shout out to Coach Helton and company. They're still moving across the state of Georgia, trying to get as many recruits. And if you are listening to or watching them on Twitter, they're like giving out, scholarships and scholarship offers are like it's candy bars. And it's good to see because, they're very aggressive of getting people on board to try to play Georgia Southern football. And I'm all here for it. I'm all for it. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit the like button, share this, subscribe to the channel. If you are listening to this on the podcast avenue, you can also subscribe over there and share. Give me a 5-star rating over there because I try my best to give you the best content possible. All right, let's go ahead and get into the topic on the topic at hand. Let's get into this. Is it time for the older QBs to move on? Now, I'm looking at Tom Brady. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. I got another quarterback I want to talk about as well. I will give you my 2 cents about in a little bit. There's a couple of them I may want to talk about. We'll get to it shortly. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have been around for a while. Tom Brady's been around since 99, 2000. He's been here around for 22 years. Aaron Rodgers has been around since 2005. It's been a good run for both of them. Can't talk much about Tom Brady. I mean, what can you say? I mean, one of the best to ever do it. Aaron Rodgers has been pretty much putting up the numbers, phenomenal, accurate numbers. But as far as winning, he's been a little mid. And it's not nothing to really, pom-pom and be happy about. When you look at the talent level that he has and the talent that's around him, they just haven't been able to get over the hump. 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers again, 13-10 in the playoffs. I think Aaron Rodgers like 1-4 versus the 49ers. And with all of this, all the accolades, I mean, the touchdown to interception ratio, all this other stuff, he's getting up there in age. I think Aaron Rodgers is up there in, 38, 39 or something like that. I don't know his age or whatever the case may be. But if you look at this picture right here, and I guess these pictures not necessarily fair, but these guys are showing their age. They're not like spring chickens. These guys look old. They look old. Do they play old? Absolutely not. And I'm going to give you a reason why, the main reason why on that in a second. But these guys are old. And when you get to this age, you may want to talk about you want to play for the love of the game and all this other stuff. And that sounds cool. Nah, these guys are trying to win championships still. They're not about to go through all these nicks and bumps and get knocked down and have to do all this stuff just to come up short. I mean, the young guys don't even do that. Yeah, there's some guys that are probably in the NFL for a paycheck, but for the most part, these guys want to win. And you're not about to do this in your late 30s and with Tom Brady instance, mid 40s. Talking about, hey, I'm just going to play just to play. No, these guys are trying to win some championships. And Aaron Rodgers was already kind of iffy about retiring. He don't want to rebuild or whatever the case may be. He may go to another team. But it's a rigorous road every year to go through this. I mean, he contemplated retirement last year. And me personally, I personally do not want to see him go to another team. And it's not like any, not because I just don't want to see him win. It's just that is a high risk to take to end up, possibly losing. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go to another team and then be like, you fall flat on your face because it doesn't work out. You're going to look worse than what you did the year before. Now, Tom Brady, I don't think Tom Brady was in the contemplating on retiring when he left the Pats to go to the Bucks. But if Tom Brady did what he did last year and just walked away from the game, that would have been totally fine and totally understandable. But now you're looking at a situation now where, he did play very well. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. He played pretty well, even though he did throw some little wonky passes. Pass rush got to him, that's one thing I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. Pass rush got to him. He threw a little bit of wonky passes, but when it counted the most, he made some great plays as far as throwing the ball. And it's just that even with all of that, you went back for a second time. And to be honest with you, the turnovers aside, the Buccaneers could have lost that game really, really. It would have been a pretty embarrassing loss if it wasn't for the turnovers, because the Rams had this game like in a chokehold. And this could have been a situation where it could have easily been 27-3, 30-6. But, shout out to the Buccaneers for never giving up. And they came back and made it a game. But at the end of the day, these guys don't want to be wanting to play games to end up in a situation where they're just losing all the time, coming up short in some of the worst ways possible. You look at the situation with Aaron Rodgers, that was a pretty good. I ain't gonna say pretty good. That was a brutal loss. That was a brutal loss for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers didn't throw a touchdown in the game. His team only scored 10 points. The special teams didn't help him out. And every time he tried to drop back, he was basically running for his life for the most part. The front seven of the 49ers knocked them down so many times. It wasn't even funny. And it didn't look good for Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady on the flip side, it didn't look too bad. And but at the end of the day, I feel like even though these guys played the way they did at the age of 45, and I think Aaron Rodgers is about to be 39. I don't know Aaron Rodgers' age. I could look that up real quick to find out what is his actual age real quick. He's 38 years old, and at the age of 38, he'll be 39 in December. And I think Tom Brady will be 45 real shortly. I feel like at the end of the day, I think these guys need to hang it up. That's just me. I understand that you want to, the art of competition, and it's their choice at the end of the day if they want to leave or not. But you look at these guys, just the optics itself, and I know that don't mean much, but the optics itself, if you're looking at this on YouTube, these guys look old. They to be honest with you, they look like they don't want to play. Maybe they do, but when you look at these pictures, and there's other pictures like this, I didn't just single these two pictures out just because I was gonna say I'm making fun of, because I could have picked worse pictures. When you look on the internet, you can find worse pictures of these guys. I picked the best two pictures that make them look like, okay, they're football players, they're playing football, but you can clearly see the optics of them passing their prime. Now, ability wise, are they passing? I mean, they're still playing at a high level. They're playing at a very high level, and that's what makes them want to continue to play. And I'm not knocking them for it. If you want to continue to play, that's great. But at the same time, why would you keep playing if it's a possibility that you're going to end up like what you just ended up like this past weekend? Because these teams are going to get better. Your teams may get better as well, but these teams are figuring you guys out. And I'm not really sure if it's, me personally, I'm not sure if it's even worth it to continue to do it. Now, I did say I was going to talk about another quarterback, and I know that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but I'm getting to the point starting to feel the same way about Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan can still play at a high level, but if I'm Matt Ryan, I will give this one more shot. And this one more shot is going to have to give them at least double-digit wins, because Matt Ryan is slightly behind these two guys. I think Matt Ryan, let me see. I don't think Matt Ryan hit 38 yet, because Matt Ryan's 36. So he's not there yet. He'll be 37 in May. So when you look at these three quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, 38, which is actually a year under. He's a year under. Matt Ryan is a year and a half under Aaron Rodgers. So I feel like he has another year under his belt. Tom Brady will be 45 in August. Matt Ryan will be 37 in May. I'll give it one more year for Matt Ryan. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'll give it one more year, and if he feels like he want to continue to play, okay, that's great. But I mean, you look at some pictures of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is starting to look like these two guys. You know what I'm saying? It's starting to look like these two guys right there. They look like these two guys right here. And it's just look, it's great. The art of competition is awesome, and I'm here for it. If you guys are willing to play to your 50, if you want to do it, that's awesome. But don't do it at the expense of you just playing to play. You looking really bad out here, and you just coming up short every time. To me, it's just not the thing to do, in my opinion. Now, if you want to do it, by all means, do it. It's cool, but you guys need to be winning a championship, because you got to think about it. These guys didn't even make the NFC Championship game. Matt Ryan is in a good, Matt Ryan didn't even make it to playoffs, and there's a high possibility that we may not even make it to the NFC Championship game next year. Is it worth it? I don't know. Is it even worth it to go that route? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. These guys are, they know their bodies better than anybody, and they would make that final decision. But I feel like when you look at, and I'm going to talk about the second half of this, when you look at these newer quarterbacks, like the, Pat Mahomes, you looking at the Josh Allens, Joe Burrows, you're looking at a lot of these young quarterbacks. It's time for them to write their legacy. It's time for them to write their story. It's time for them to go ahead and get their shine and have these guys write their history in the history books. Now, the reason why these guys are playing at a high level still is protection. If they come back to play again, they got to have protection on the offensive line. Yeah, they can move around a little bit, but that ain't going to last too long for these older quarterbacks. That even goes for Matt Ryan as well. These three quarterbacks going to need protection. When they didn't have protection, you saw what happened with Tom Brady. Tom Brady did not look too good this past game. And like I said, the only thing that really kept them in this game was the turnovers. Shout out to the team as a collective for continuously having these guys be opportunistic and taking the ball back when need be. Aaron Rodgers, what kept him in the game, what kept him in this entire season was the fact that he was able to stay upright and throw that football. Long as these guys are able to stand up and throw that football, they're going to be, efficient. They're going to be successful. So that's what's keeping them around. These two guys are playing this game with their brains big time. And I'm talking about they're playing the mental game behind in the pocket probably like 90% of the time. These guys, not Matt, but Matt can move a little bit too. But Aaron Rodgers moves around pretty well. I think Tom Brady finally, he had like the most rushing yards in his career this past season. And that's cool. But that's not what they're there for. They're there to throw that football around. Matt Ryan the same way. He was able to get the ball around with very little help. But these three guys need to find a way to continue to have protection on that offensive line if they're going to continue to play. That's the only way that they're going to be able to be successful. Because when they didn't have that protection, then when they had to run for their life, you saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers. 49ers was teeing off on them. You saw what happened with Aaron Donald, Von Miller and them. They were trying to tee off on Tom Brady until, later in the game. But it's just a situation where these guys need that protection. It's good for them to have it. Matt Ryan, when he's upright, and I've been saying this all season when I talk about any type of podcast episode or any video I make, when these guys are able to stand upright, these guys are absolutely, successful. Matt Ryan needs to stay upright. If he's not upright, it's gonna be a long day. You did it, baby. That's my son. He's always up here. But as you can see, I finally got my couch up here. It's not the best looking one, but I finally got it up here, so that's great. But it's time for these new guys to write their history, write their legacy. Get these guys in here so they can start playing, and we can have more storylines about them. The Tua Tagovailoas, the Kyler Murrays, all these other guys that are actually, under the age of 30 that are throwing the football around. you want to have. I just think, the face of the of football will really benefit from a newer face. The actual face will benefit from a newer face. And I think it's kind of shifted that way already, because I don't think Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, I don't think these guys are necessarily the face of football, because you still got guys like Pat Mahomes. You still got guys like Josh Allen. Those guys are younger. And to an extent, the NFL will probably want to push those guys out in the forefront anyway. I mean, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He continued to sell jerseys. He's on the cover of the latest Madden. It's just, the thing about Tom Brady just has this thing about him that is so infectious. He gravitates towards him. It's hard to dislike him, even though I'm a Falcons fan. It's hard to dislike him. It's so many things that you want to hate about him, but you can't, because he does, for the most part, he does everything the right way. Baby, get down, baby. My son is loving this couch for the most part. He's loving this couch a little bit too much. But nevertheless, he's up here. He wants to play around for a while. I'll let him do it. But no, I think in a few years you'll start seeing more of these quarterbacks get better, and that's a good thing. After a while, you will start seeing the Tuas of the world. Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, they already arrived. And I keep talking about these guys' name. The Zach Wilsons, maybe he'll do something really nice and actually make a face for himself. I haven't even talked about Justin Fields. Hopefully he's able to do something. There's so many young quarterbacks here who have the potential to be top dogs in the league. You would want to see them succeed. And it's not a knock on these guys. It's just that it just becomes a point where, like, all right, we love what you've done. It's great. But if you ain't out here competing for championships every year, which to an extent they are, but if you ain't really out here playing, to actually win like we would think you are, it's time to move on. And it's hard for me to say that about Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady just won a Super Bowl last year. You know what I'm saying? He just, won a Super Bowl 2 years prior to that. I mean, Tom Brady just always in the conversation, but I just think it's time to move on, especially like for Aaron Rodgers, and then to an extent, and I know I'm biased, Matt Ryan as well. I'm not opposed to him moving on, but they're going to have something around him so he's able to be successful. I don't want to see Matt Ryan out here playing once again for another, 8-9 season. I want to see this guy win like 10 to 12 games. If he can do that, then I can see Matt playing another 2 or 3 years, But once he hits that 38, 39 years old, I'm going to be looking at him just like I'm looking at these two guys here. Like, hey, now, y'all getting up there. It might be time to move on because, you're great at what you do, but you guys need, if you're not in that conversation like Tom Brady is, Tom Brady, he's almost guaranteed at least a spot in the conference championship game. It's just that this go round, they got knocked out. Aaron Rodgers, I like Aaron Rodgers, I do, but we got to be honest here. After him winning that Super Bowl back in 2010, Aaron Rodgers just haven't been able to get over that hump, bro. He just haven't. That doesn't mean that I don't think he should, I don't think that he's a scrub or anything, but if you can't, get to that promised land, you just beating your head against the wall at this point, and I feel like it's time to move on. Tom Brady, and then I'm gonna say this before I go. A lot of people may not agree with me on this, but I kind of my gut feeling, and I could be wrong about this because it's Tom Brady. I don't think that the Buccaneers is going to get back to where everybody think they are going to get back to with this team constructed the way they are and Tom Brady playing the way he is. Yeah, I think he's going to be really good, but I think he's going to be in purgatory, kind of similar to Aaron Rodgers. I don't see them getting to another Super Bowl. I could be wrong, but that's just my gut feeling. Something just telling me, my gut telling me that's not going to happen. But it's Tom Brady. It's very hard to bet against. And if he does, I won't be surprised. But it's just right now I'm looking at the situation. I find it highly unlikely. I don't see it happening. Can it happen? I mean, look, it's Tom Brady. You talking about it? Can it happen? As far as Aaron Rodgers, I don't see it happening. I mean, it's just been too many opportunities. I don't see them doing it. I think I think even in both of these instances, the Buccaneers and the Packers, I think these young gun quarterbacks are going to start to outshine these guys. And, you know, and I think to a certain extent, Matthew Stafford, he outshined Aaron Rodgers. He outshined, Matthew Stafford outshined Tom Brady in this game. People don't want to really admit it, and I get it. It's cool. But, yeah, they were outshined in this game. I mean, he was outshined by Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford found a way to do big things. I mean, you hear my son having fun? That's how it is. Anyway, Matthew Stafford had 28 for 38, 336, 9.6 average, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Tom Brady threw the ball for 30 for 24, 329, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times for 21 yards. His quarterback rating was 13.9. His quarterback rating, not the QBR. QBR was 13.9. The quarterback rating was 72.2. Matthew Stafford quarterback rating was 67.4, and his quarterback rating was 121. So he outplayed he outplayed Tom Brady in this game, and you know I don't see. I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless if he gets some protection, that's going to continue to happen. Now, when you look at the 49ers Packers game, Jimmy Garoppolo looked terrible. I mean, but Jimmy Garoppolo is not the story. It's the fact that the defense front seven was beat up on Aaron Rodgers to the point where Aaron Rodgers didn't score. He didn't throw a touchdown or he didn't throw a pick, and that's cool. His QBR was 19.2. His rating was 91.1. Jimmy Garoppolo was even worse, 11.8, 57.1. So, I feel like personally, I think it's going to get worse. I think these other quarterbacks, these younger guys, are going to get better. These teams are going to be better to work around these guys and show these guys how to win against these guys. But shout out to the Buccaneers. They found a way to get back in the game and gave Brady a chance. And when you got Brady, you always got a chance. But my gut feeling is these newer guys are going to continue to find ways to get around beating these guys. And you at this age, you don't want to continue to play at that level. So I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. I think it's time for them to move on. And last but not least, I'll talk about Matt Ryan real quick. Matt Ryan's going to have to win double-digit games next season to even talk about trying to continue to go along with his career. Because the next couple of years, I don't want to see him have another 7-10 season, 6-11, or anything like that. They need to put pieces around him, or whatever the case, or wherever he goes, even if he's not winning Atlanta. He need to have pieces around him to be successful. Because at the later stages of your career, you don't need to be running around here winning that many games. You need to be winning more of these games. You need to be in contention like these other two quarterbacks, Brady and Rodgers. But at the same time, you need to at least be making it to the Super Bowl or the NFC, AFC championship game. But that's just my 2 cents. I just feel at the end of the day, these guys are going to continue to be I think they're going to continue to be outplayed by these younger guys. I don't think Jimmy G's going to ever outplay Aaron Rodgers, but you're going to find other quarterbacks that's going to find a way to at least be on par with the Tom Brady when it comes to playing in the playoffs. These young guys aren't going to get worse. You got a lot of talent at quarterback right now that could do some big things, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I mean, it's always Tom Brady. When you ever heard about Tom Brady actually falling off? And I don't think he'll ever fall off. I just don't think that he's going to make it back to the promised land because these other teams are now starting to figure it out where they're going to find ways to win. But we'll see how it goes. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming back and listening for another week. Another Monday is in the books. I thank you guys a lot. Got my son up here during this recording. We're going to spend some time with him, and we'll be back tomorrow with another episode. If you like this content, hit the like button, share this, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're on YouTube, if you're on the podcast side of things, hit the like. Oh, well, not hit the like, but you can subscribe to that, to the podcast avenue of your choice. And anytime I put up an episode, it will pop up and you'll be able to download it, Give me 5 stars. Let people know what I'm doing over here. The better the rating, the more people subscribe, the more this podcast will be reachable. And it's all thanks to you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to put this together, get things together for the next episode tomorrow. And I'll see you guys then. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.